So I'm planning on going sucker fishing. I already got it booked, and I booked it based off of some data that I did a little research on. By sucker, I mean white sucker, which is also known as mullet. I live in Michigan. The research I did was over several years of the Michigan DNR fishing report. Okay, they release a weekly fishing report every Thursday, and what I did base it off of is water temperature over the past years of when the fishing report was saying the sucker were running, and I'm going to be fishing the Rifle River near Sterling, Michigan, which is actually near Omer, Michigan, is where I'm going to be fishing it. Now, I'm going to go through the process I went through in order to determine when would be a good time to go sucker fishing, and I'm going to predict when that will be this year. So, if anybody out in Michigan is wondering when a good time to hit the Rifle River is, or how to research when a good time will be in the future, this is how I went about it. So let's go back to 2014 even. I think 2014 worked for me. What I want to do is I want to copy this right here, and I'm going to search Google. Well, first, we have to find out the right dates, because it's every Thursday. So I don't know when Thursday is in 2014. So I'm going to look here and figure it out that way. So March 2014, Thursday, 6/13th, 2027. Now we'll set our dates here for the water. This is water temperature. This is waterdata.usg.gov. And I found this just by searching for Rifle River water temperature on Google. The site number, if you're interested, for the Rifle River is 04142000. And that is for the Rifle River. It's for Sterling, Michigan. They do all sorts of data, but we're mainly just interested in water temperature here. So we're going to look at March 27th, 2014 through April 24th, 2014. And we want to look at temperatures, which I found to be in between 40 and 45 degrees is really what I'm found. And I found that to be just by doing this. So let's see, the April 5th, April 3rd. Let's look at April 3rd, 2014. See if we can find that. Now, I had quite a bit of luck just by putting in the actual title for the fishing report into Google, and you want to put it in quotes here. Okay, so for 2014, they did it a little differently. These reports that are coming up actually include several weeks worth of reports. So here's April 3rd, 2014. We want to look at northeastern Upper Peninsula. We'll have or northeastern Lower Peninsula. And this is for April 3rd. Yeah. And we don't have anything here. We do have Rifle River right here. It says sucker dippers are setting up near Omer. They may have a hard time until the ice flows move downstream. Suckers are in the river and are hitting on crawlers. Just find some open water. Okay. Now that's April 3rd that they gave the fishing report. So that's right around in here on the water temperature map. Make that a little bigger so you guys can see it. So April 3rd, it's going to be in around here. And you can see here's the 40-degree temperature mark. It's not even quite hitting 40 degrees, which I find to be a little odd. This is a bit of an anomaly. That is still April 3rd, right? But let's go down to April 10th then. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that would make more sense. I haven't hit go yet. We want to hit go. We were looking at this year's standings. All right, so no, this is 2014. Most recent instantaneous value. I just read that and I was thinking I was looking at 2022, but this was the 14th. But April 10th, 2014, Northeast Lower Peninsula. The sucker runs are just barely getting started. There's still a fair amount of floating ice still coming down the river. So now we're up into the 10th, hit 40 degrees on the water temperature. The 10th will be around here. So we're still not quite getting very warm. Let's go down to April 17th and see what they have to say for Northeast Lower Peninsula. Rifle River continues to produce a fair to good number of suckers. Okay, April 17th, that's right around here. So now we're in, this is 40 to 45 degree temperature, water temperature here. And they're saying fair to good number of suckers. Now, if we go even further now down to the 24th and get down to northeastern Lower Peninsula, they don't even mention the Rifle River at this point, which really kind of means the sucker run has ended. Okay, so we go to the 24th. So once water temperature gets over about 45 degrees here, you're not getting any more suckers. You might be able to go upstream from Omer towards like Moffett Bridge or something, find them up there. You know, the further upriver you get, the later in the season it will be. But as it is in 2014 for the Rifle River in Omer, once that water temperature hit about 45, you're just out of luck. So now let's check 2015. See if I found some data there. I did this for like 4 different years before I came up with what I expect. And I checked the weather forecast for this year too, in order to try and determine when will be good for fishing this year. All right, so now we got April. We got 40 degree water temp. For some reason, 2015, the USGS water report here doesn't go earlier than like April 2nd, maybe. So actually, this is a bad data set because we don't have warmer temperatures. Hey, but let's look it up anyways. So March 26th, let's say March. Let's go later. What's after March 26th on a Thursday? It is April 2nd. 2015. All right, here we go. Now this is better because this just takes us to that exact week. Here we have weekly fishing report, April 2nd, 2015. Go down to northeastern Lower Peninsula and look for the Rifle River. With rain in the forecast, the sucker run should start to pick up by this weekend. All right, that's April 2nd. If we look here, April 2nd would be right around here, which is putting us in that 40 to 45 degree temperature after April 2nd. So like the data the week that they're talking about prior to this, because it's the weekly fishing report. This report is telling us what happened more or less on the week prior to April 2nd. So really, we don't have any data as far as water temperature here. But by what they're telling us, that the Rifle River, with rain in the forecast, the sucker should start to pick up by this weekend. They're telling us more or less that there are, some sucker in the river right now, but it's just not at its peak yet. Rain's in the forecast, and they expect it to pick up. So let's step it up a notch. Go to April 9th, 2015. You can see these are all pink links because I've actually already viewed them. Like I said, I'd already done this before. But the result that I got after doing this before Like, I really was like, wow, this is pretty impressive that you could look back in the history of fishing reports, compare water temperatures, and then use that data to try and determine when you can expect the fish to be on the run. So here we go, Rifle River, April 9th, 2015. So this is from the 2nd to the 9th of April. Suckers are being caught by hook and line between Omer and the mouth. A couple steelhead were also caught. Now, for reference, you guys might not be familiar with Omer, Michigan. So let me get that up on the map so you can see where that's at too. I'll show you guys Omer, Michigan. Here is the state of Michigan. And Omer, Michigan is a small little town. It's a real tiny little town. I don't think they even have a traffic light. They might have one traffic light now. Here's Omer. This is the Rifle River that comes in off of, I think this is Saginaw Bay. Yeah, Saginaw Bay, Arnack County, and you have the Rifle River right here. So basically, we're talking this stretch right here that they're finding sucker. They're just coming in. What happens is they school up here at the mouth of the river. Well, they do it at a lot of these rivers. Most of these rivers throughout the state have a sucker run, but Omer just like is famous for it. If you know anything about sucker fishing in Michigan, then you pretty much know Omer is famous place for it. There's just people put dip nets in. It's amazing. And I'm gonna make some video on that. I'm gonna hit this run this year, and I plan on making some video. So I hope you can look for that down the road. If you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe. You can catch it. I'm gonna get some video of catching them. I want to make another video on cleaning them, and then I pressure jar them, pressure can them, and you'll see, oh, it's fabulous. It's fabulous. So this is Omer, Michigan. This is Rifle River, and they're talking between Omer and the mouth. And this is a matter of, I don't know, like 3 or 4 miles max. It's maybe a little 6 miles perhaps. It's not very far between the mouth and Omer. So now we know where we're talking. They're saying with water temperatures between 40 and 45 degrees, suckers are being caught between Omer and the mouth. So they're just starting to run into the river. So let's look at April 16th. Pull that one up. Go down to northeastern Lower Peninsula and look for Rifle River, and you don't see it. It's not here at all. And if you look April 16th, that'd be right around in here. Water temperatures exceed 45 degrees. No more suckers. So basically, again, we're seeing that the run is occurring between 40 and 45 degree water temperature around Omer. And again, if you go upstream, you might catch them by like Moffett Bridge or somewhere in there. Now, Moffett Bridge, that's another spot that I don't even know how. Oh, here, right here, Moffett Bridge. Moffett Bridge is up here. So at this point, you might catch them at Moffett Bridge. And there's, this is Interstate I-75, Alger exit. Just go east on, what is this, Maple Ridge? I don't even know the name of the road for sure, but I used to fish Moffett Bridge when I was 5, 6, 10 years old with my family. This is where we'd go and catch them. There's access to the river here at Moffett Bridge, so if you're late to the run, you might want to head up here, try Moffett Bridge. It's hard to say when exactly they'll be there. It's a lot easier to judge here. This is mainly where I was looking. So we know 2014, we know 2015, both times 40 to 45 degree water temperature. That's where we wanted to be. Let's look up 2018 and 19, I believe. I also looked up, so we should be able to find that data as well. I don't know about 16 and 17. I don't think I looked for those. So let's change our date to the 18th. April 20, April 5th, 2018. Let's look that up. I wish the state website had it a little easier to look these fishing reports up. Some of them were just like, until I realized I could put quotes, the actual title right here in quotes, I was really struggling trying to find this old data because it's not easy to find. It's April 5th, 2018, northeastern Lower Peninsula, Rifle River. The Sucker Run, well, let's go over here too. Let's have some water data in front of us too. April 5th, which is right around here, they're saying the sucker run was starting to come in at Omer. Hook and line anglers were doing well, but dip netters had spotty success. If the suckers are in at Omer, they should also be moving into other local rivers. Well, that's not the best. It's just starting to come, is what they're saying. So that was April 5th. If we look at April 5th, 2018, then we're seeing 40 degrees would be right around here. We're getting, we had a little bit of warm. Ooh, they might have been in there a little earlier. Let's look and see what it says before April 5th. That would have been March 29th. March 29th. Let's see. See, I've looked at this one already before too. Northeastern. There's no mention of Rifle River, March 29th. Okay, so April 12th is what we want. April 12th, Northeastern, and Rifle River. Sucker fishing is ongoing at Omer, but the run slowed with colder weather. Warmer weather later this week might get something going. Okay, and that was the 12th, which would be right around here. So again, we have it got up to 40 degrees, and then we have this cold spell that slowed them, or it was this cold spell that slowed them. It might have been, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. But we do know that with some 40-degree temperatures, 40 to 45-degree temperatures, we're getting sucker in there. Now let's go to April 19th. Northeastern Lower Peninsula. And now there's no mention at all of the Rifle River. And April 19th, that is a cold spell. That's like all cold. So let's see about April 26th. Do they mention it at all here? Northeastern, nope, no Rifle River. So it would appear to me that the run this year happened on, or the run on 2018 kind of fell off after this cold spell and never really picked back up, or when it did pick back up, it wasn't noteworthy enough for them to mention it. I feel like the DNR here, they're probably not going to put a tip in and say, hey, sucker fishing is good in Omer, if in fact it's already passed through, because they're not going to want to send people on a wild goose chase. But it did seem that in these temperatures, when we hit like 40 to 44 degrees in this range here, we had the sucker run. So now let's look at 2019. 2019, March 28th, 2019, April 25th. And I'm going to pull up the fishing report. Let's look at where water temperatures are. So we're looking at this chart. We're going to think that the sucker run probably started somewhere in the first week of April, which would be April 4th. We want to see the report. April 4th, 2019. This is not what we're looking. Maybe it is. No, this website, they want me to pay or something. Don't they? I don't know. Let's see here. No. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's not that easy to find this sometimes. Now it's popping up. That's so crazy. I put April 3rd and now it gives me April 4th. All right. Well, anyways, Northeast Lower Peninsula, Rifle River. The sucker runs have started, but are still running a bit late. Okay, that's what I said. I just said, like April 4th, this week right here is when I expect it would have started. So let's look at April 11th. Hopefully we can find it. April 11th, 2019. All right, let's look at our data here. Wow, look at that. 40 to 45 degrees. Wow, that's like perfect. This spurt right here, I bet the salmon were running like, or the suckers were running like crazy there. So let's take a look and see what the DNR said. The sucker run is underway and the hook and line anglers did well. However, the dip netters said there were not enough fish in yet. A warm rain is needed to get the fish moving. Steelhead were also caught. So that sounds promising. The sucker run is underway. That sounds very promising to me. Now let's look at April 18th, and I'm thinking there's no mention of suckers on April 18th, but let's take a look. Ooh, it does. Sucker fishing continues as well. And that makes sense because we're still under 45-degree temperatures. See here? That's 40 to 45. April 18th would have been right in here. So that seems like perfect. But now, once we get past that, up into the 45 to 55, there's definitely not going to be any mention of it there. But we'll pull it up just to prove our point. Northeast Lower Peninsula doesn't say anything about suckers. Rifle River, those fishing upstream have caught steelhead. Now, again, at this point, you might be able to find them up at Moffett Bridge. So if you are late to it, don't forget to check Moffett Bridge. It's not that far. So I don't know, maybe 30 minutes, maybe a little longer. I don't know. I couldn't tell you for sure. So we've just checked 4 different years, the history of the water temperature, and we've come to conclude that early April, water temperatures 40 to 45 degrees are ideal for white sucker in the Rifle River. So let's look at this year. March 2020 to April 2020. Now we're only going to be able to get to the 24th. Oh, I think I screwed up. Yeah, I screwed up. Let's go back. I need to say, oh, wait a minute. We're only in March. Duh. Can't even, why is it doing March 28th? All right. Let's do March 7th through March 24th because today is the 23rd. Which I guess it's not even going to give me the 24th because today is the 23rd. Let's do this properly, I guess. You know what? Today is the 23rd only by a couple minutes. So, you know what? Oh, 2 All right, 2020. No, why does it still say that? Here we go. This is current data. This is March 22nd. The ice just thawed March 20th. At one point we had a spike up to 37 degrees, but we're still at 34.5 degrees water temperature. I'm going to pull up Omer daily weather for Omer, Michigan. And let's go to our daily weather, March 23rd through April 3rd. And we see here that we have a couple days of rain with 40 to 43 degree temperatures, 44 degrees on Friday. So there might be a slight possibility of us getting close to or even possibly surpassing 40 degree water temperatures. However, I think it's pretty unlikely, and even if we do, those temperatures are followed by a cold spell. Saturday through Thursday, everything's under the 40s. We got some snow, we got some rain. But if you look here, Friday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, we start getting back into the 40s, 25% rain, 48 on Saturday and Sunday, but this is where it gets real good. Monday, 49 degrees and rain. So Tuesday, April 5th, 50 degree weather. I think this is where we're going to see the run really start, because especially the 4 days following, look at all these temperatures with rain every single day. So starting April 5th through, say, Monday, April 11th, I think we're going to have our sucker run right here. That's my prediction from looking at those 4 years of data, looking at the weather forecast. I think April 5th through April 11th, Rifle River, between the mouth and Omer, whatever city, I guess, a little town, is going to be good time for sucker fishing. So I'm going to head out there. I've already booked a place with Airbnb, so I'm going to be out there from the 5th to the 11th. And I'm going to get some video. I'm going to do some sucker fishing. Hopefully I'll get a nice mess of them and get a video of that. I'm going to get video of cleaning them. I'm going to get video of canning them up, jarring them. Heck, probably even cooking some after that. There's all sorts of good recipes you can make with them. Now, they're a bony fish, so they're not that great for filleting. But if you're going to jar them up, those bones, they just turn to mush. They're like nothing. And it's a real delicate meat. It doesn't taste very fishy. And I usually put some salt in there, and it almost reminds me of eating popcorn. They're so tasteless. You just like, after jarring them, it's all you really taste is the salt when you're eating them. So it's like a great replacement for tuna. And if you look into it, sucker is a very clean fish. Even though that it seems like they're a bottom feeder, they feed on a lot of crustaceans and invertebrates. They don't feed on other fish. And other fish that are predators that feed on other fish, they pick up toxins by feeding on those other fish. Whereas something that feeds on like insects and invertebrates, it doesn't pick up as many toxins. So, mullet meat is actually very safe to consume. They have a Michigan Fish Advisory. I don't know if you've ever known about the Michigan Fish Advisory, but it actually tells you, Eat Safe Fish Guide. This is a great guide. If you're into eating fish, you should definitely look into this. You can use your regions to eat safe fish. Find. I don't know which one of these links are appropriate. Oh, let's just go here. Try and find. Wait, we can look them up for the Rifle River. Let's go down. We want to look at statewide fish guidelines. Suckers. Okay, this is a general statewide safe fishing guideline, and it tells you servings per month that you should consume. And if you look down this list, the maximum servings per month you should have of any fish is 8. And sucker is one of those ones that shows 8. along with sunfish and bluegill. Those are the only 3 fish on the fish advisory that allow for 8 servings per month. So that's twice a week that you can eat sucker, whereas any other fish, even yellow perch, you should only be eating once a week, but sucker you can actually eat twice a week. And this tells you how much a serving. Your serving is based off of your body weight. Now, I'm a big guy, and I think last I figured a serving for me is like a pound of fish. So I can eat like 2 pounds of sucker a year. Now, where do they tell you the serving size? Serving categories. Yeah, and it's different for if you're... Okay, how much is a Michigan serving? Weight of person, 180 pounds, is 8 ounces. All right, well, I tell you, I'm like double that right there. So I can eat about 16 ounces according to this, which is actually pretty ridiculous that I can eat 2 pounds of sucker per week safely. But you can take it a step further, and if you really scroll down and you find we're going to be fishing Aroostook County, Rifle River, rock bass suckers, okay? Now this is important because even though that state advisory, it's generic, you should always go and find the body of water that you're fishing and look up that exact body of water. Let me make it a little bigger. I'm sorry I didn't earlier. But if you look here, suckers, there's a chemical concern for mercury, and it says I should actually only eat 4 servings per month of suckers coming out of the Rifle River. But then it says when fishing the river near Lake Huron, please check the lake guidelines on page 16 too. So let's do that because I will be fishing near the mouth. Lake Huron. Scroll down to the next page. Okay, so now it gets even more interesting. Lake Huron, Saginaw Bay. The fillets of fish from Lake Huron, Saginaw Bay have been tested for chemicals. Lake Huron guidelines should also be used for rivers that flow into the lake up to the first dam. Okay, so now we get into this. And sucker has a PCB warning to where it's 2 and then 2 times. Well, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? What is this 2 times? See page 8 for 2 times. Let's take a look at that. If you see, where's that? Fish limit 1 or 2 meals per month. Use the map to find another lake. All right, yeah, that's. It does tell you about ways to cook that. Not only is grilling or broiling your fish healthier than frying, it also helps to get rid of more chemical carrying fat. When you cook a fish on a grate, any fat hiding inside the fillet can melt and drip away from the fish. This removes even more of those harmful chemicals. That's good to keep in mind. What's that 2 times little indicator? If you follow the 3 C's carefully, you can remove up to half the chemicals in your fish. Fish often use a guide. When you clean your fish, try trimming away as much of the fat as you can see. Chemicals like PCBs are stored in the fat. So that's good to know because it's the PCB warning. Okay, so that's that. Is that what the 2 times means? Is if I follow the choose clean cook method, if I cook it with and get the fat off, I could have twice as much. Oh, okay. So can you double? Yes, 24 meals are okay if you follow the 3 C's because it's PCBs. But here with mercury, no, mercury is listed as a chemical in the fish. So for PCBs, if I follow the 3 C's, which choose doesn't really work because I can't find another lake if I'm going to fish there. But cleaning it, if I trim away as much of the fat as I can see, then see if I'm not going to grill or broil it though. I'm going to be jarring it. But then again, if I'm broiling it, no grilling, it, jarring it's kind of like boiling it, and the fat would rise and drain off of it. You know, the fat because it's boiled in water. So I mean, I guess I could go to 4 servings per month. I could eat it once a week and still be safe, I suppose. But this is something you want to take into consideration here is when you're eating wild fish, you really want to look up the safe fish eating guide so that you're not going to be eating something that's going to get you or your family sick, especially if you're going to be having children. You know, like that's if you're older, such as myself, you know, I'm past my prime. It's possible I could eat twice what this recommends and not even live long enough to where it affects me. But if you're younger, you plan on starting a family, those kinds of things, you really want to be especially careful then. You don't want to end up having problems with your children because, you know, you ate some toxic fish or something. I would recommend reading most of this guide and getting familiar with it. I've spent a lot of time in the past reading it, however, that was some time ago, and I haven't been real familiar with it lately. I would really have to read over it again to really have any deep insight, but I mean, you could see that I kind of already knew ahead of time that there's a special cooking, and you know, you can go down to the exact waterway that you're fishing, and to, you know, just keep your eyes open for little notes underneath of whatever you're, you know, like upstream of Mayo Dam, etc. But hey, that's it. Hope to catch you later when I get video of me actually catching the fish, and you know, hope this helps you out. So again, one last time to reiterate, I expect that April 5th through 11th is going to be our good sucker run here in the state of Michigan, 2022, between Omer and the mouth of the Rifle River. And hey, maybe I'll see you out there. Until next time, happy hunting and happy trails, or good luck fishing, go catch. I don't know what to say. Thanks for viewing. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.